Well, it's 2019, so how appropriate is this? Fan Expo is celebrating Blade Runner, and here with us today are Sean Young and Edward James Olmos.
Hello. I guess we got to get these real close, don't we? Hello.
So,
hola. No fucks. No Hungarians in here?
One, yeah, I knew there's two.
Did I
Yeah.
pronounce it right? Close enough. You know what I'm saying.
So I would like to begin on a sad note. This panel, unfortunately, is happening very soon after the death of the great actor Rutger Hauer. So I'd like to begin by asking both of you if you have any fond memories of Rutger, particularly on the set of Blade Runner.
I have a photo, the last one I took with him. I'm going to find it.
So Edward, do you want to talk while we're looking for the photo?
Basically, I think we were all stunned. I mean, we were always in contact throughout the last 40 years, but it's, he was very private. He was with his family, and we knew nothing about his illness. That was the hardest part. And the last time we were with him, he looked really well. And so we were, like you, heard about it in the news, and so we were all caught like that. So we didn't get any kind of, oh my gosh, you guys, Rutger passed. It was just, whenever everybody heard it, we all heard it. I think that goes along with Ridley and everybody. I don't think anybody was pre-warned that he was that kind of condition, because he's
Well, he smoked like a fiend.
there you go.
Yeah, he did smoke a lot, so that was, I'm sure, one of the reasons why his health wasn't as good as it could be. I did a second movie. You probably don't know this. We did a second movie in India called something about the cobra. It was like an action figure, but action movie. But it never got released for various problems of the producers. But he worked the whole thing. He worked 3 months on it, and he smoked constantly. Wow. Yeah. So it's a good lesson. I mean, if you're a smoker, you might want to consider quitting. Because it is a crap habit. But yeah. And then there was a picture. The last time I saw Rutger, I know you can't see this, but you can see it afterwards if you'd like. And it was at, I know, isn't that cute? It was at one of the Comic-Cons, and I don't remember where, but he was pretty happy. Wasn't he on his farm? I mean, he basically lived on his farm, and he was pretty happy to do that, and he didn't really, take himself overly seriously, which is nice, and he was personable and warm-hearted and straightforward, a very straightforward person.
I wanted to ask you about what your reactions were the very first time that you stepped onto Ridley Scott's set.
I'm keeping looking at you because I hope you'll answer first.
Well, I mean, it was, I was a big fan of Ridley's before I stepped on the set. And I knew the work that he did and the way he was working. And when I stood on the set for the very first time, I was mind blown. He was a production designer. That's how he started his career. He's an artist, art and production designer, and he took it to the max. And when he became a director, he just outdid himself. As we saw in Alien, and we saw many things, The Duelist, many things that he did before he did Blade Runner. And he was kind of like very calm and really centered and very secure. I must tell you.
I'd call it calculated, but that would be my interpretation.
We had a different experience.
We had. What I remember about you, Eddie, is that you had come up with a lot of ideas about your character. Like, for example, the odd pigeon language stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you come up with that? Yeah, and I thought that. And there were some actors. One of the actors, remember Brian and the guy opposite him, who
Brian James.
yeah, who's gone. But who was the guy that was opposite him, who was doing the interviewing?
Oh God, he was great.
Yeah, he was great. He was a little like that too. He always had ideas that he brought to set, and made suggestions. And in fact, Rutger was like that too, where he would.
Well, he wrote a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. He was always very energetic to participate and have input, and so were you. And I remember Eddie always having like deep in conversation with, wanting to get it right and having strong opinions and strong ideas about that, which was different than my experience, which was I was more into, having come from being a dancer, I was more into just being told what to do and trying to do it to the best of my ability. I didn't argue a lot, and I didn't, because I think I was intimidated, basically, so I kept, contrary to public tabloid, I did keep my mouth shut at the time.
The one thing that I think we both are sharing here is that the set was quite different than I anticipated. The security, Ridley was so secure in himself and knowing what he was doing, and he would allow growth around him. That is really what you look forward to, and you look, as an artist, what you really are so grateful for when you run into it. I had worked, before I worked with Ridley, I had been working with Robert M. Young, who was a brilliant, brilliant director, coming from the world of documentaries. He was the first man who went underwater with a camera and started shooting great whites and sharks. And they wrote the book Jaws after they went on one of his excursions out. And he was a brilliant, brilliant filmmaker, and he still is. He's 95 years old and still making film. And I worked with him, so I'd come from being kind of spoiled in that respect of being able to really discuss and going through processes with my directors. And I had worked with Michael Wadley on Wolfen, and that was his second feature. And he had done, the first one he'd done was Woodstock, and won the Academy Award for it. And then, so I worked with him in the second film, which was Wolfen, and also great collaboration. And I had just gotten off the stage from doing Zoot Suit. I'd done a play, and I created a character that was truly my understanding of my character, and I developed it. And so I had worked with people. So when I walked in to talk with Ridley the very first day, first time they brought me in because I had done Zoot Suit and I had won a lot of acclaim throughout the acting world, but especially in theater and around the world. It was a shocker around the world. And it was amazing. It launched my career. And so when I walked in to talk to Ridley, I literally said, I would love to help you do this, because it was a minor role. Are you kidding? I was like,
Which got bigger because you developed it.
Yeah.
well, I developed things within the pieces that they gave me. They never added more of my character to the script. What you see in me is exactly what I had. It was what I did with what the opportunity I was given. Like, no one knew. The origami, no one knew about that. I didn't
So
know about
that was your idea, or
Yeah,
that was
of
his
course,
idea?
It was mine.
Wow.
I mean,
I
the
know,
language
right?
was
I
mine. The
know.
language was mine. The Asian influence was mine. The understanding, not mine. I meant that I had
No, it was yours.
infused it into the structure of the piece, along with he placed me in a scene where I bring Rutger after getting him at the noodle stand. I bring him to see Captain Bryant, and they're talking in the scene, and they put me, and I thought I was going to walk in, hand him off, and then please leave, walk out the door. That's what I really thought that was what was going to happen. But he said, no, sit back in the back. And where that kid is right now with the red shirt on all the way back at the door, with the distance I was from the scene. That's how large the room was. And if you see the movie, you'll see them sitting at the table, and and Harrison and Brian,
Emmett.
Emmett Walsh are talking to each other. And I said, oh man, this is really interesting. Why am I in it?
Right.
My brain trying to say to myself, why am I in here? You know, and I said, wow, I guess I'm supposed to be hearing this, but not showing that I'm hearing it. And yet I'm supposed to be not drawing attention to myself, because that would take away from the scene, the actual scene being done. You couldn't move around and do stuff, because then your eye would go to that. Or if you stood like a tree, you draw attention to yourself. Pretty soon it becomes very conscious to people and say, that guy's just like sitting there stoic, dumb. You know, and then it becomes a bothersome image inside the structure of the situation. So, just by chance, I looked over, and on the table was an ashtray right by my side here. And in the ashtray was a Ridley's gum wrapper, white on the outside and with that tin foil on the inside kind of stuff. So it had like texture to it. And I picked it up and I started to use it. So now I had something to do that wouldn't make me go like crazy, or I wouldn't just be sitting like this. I was doing something. And what I was doing was like playing with this piece of paper. And by playing with a piece of paper, as I was playing, and I'm listening to them talking over there about, you know, and I looked at it, and it kind of like looked like a chicken. And I said, oh, yeah. And I'm listening to what he's saying. I said, this guy is a chicken. He's a big, tough cop, this guy. And so I'm thinking to myself like that, and I finish it, and then when the scene's over, I put the thing down, and I go, what? That was it. Ridley came over and said, you know, he came across and he said, and bring the camera over here, take a picture of the chicken. and it was really funny, because then, of course, the props department said, that is not a chicken.
Yeah.
So
And they pull in the expert guy to do the Chinese stuff.
chicken.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so he did the chicken, and I mean, they took it, then they put in another shot of the really good-looking chicken. So then the next situation was the whole situation with the stick man. I was then again, man, they take me into the scene, I'm in the situation, and there's Deckard, he's running around the scene looking for Leon's room and checking everything out. What am I supposed to be doing? I mean, what, I drove him there, I got him, my taxi cab driver, what, you know, should I wait in the car? No, they bring me into the scene. I go, interesting, I'm in the scene again. And I look over, and there's a matchstick. And so I'm fracking with the matchstick. and he's running around looking at everything and then they would shoot me a little bit, and then they'd look up and then, you know, look at him do the thing, and I kind of get a little bit of a grin or something. You didn't know what I was thinking. The guy was weird. My character was very strange. And so then that's when I put the little heart on. I don't know if any of you saw it.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. The little matchstick has a little heart on. Bing! And if you look real close, you'll see it. It's in the movie. And so I made the little thing and I put it down, and it was just funny. Cut to, I come back to see the movie after it was all over, and sure enough, man, that origami had an incredible, and my character had an incredible position in the story itself. I was the only one who knew that Deckard was a replicant. And I left the unicorn right at his apartment when he gets up and he takes out Rachael. He takes her out, and then he finds it on the ground, and he looks at it and looks up at her, and that's how the movie was supposed to end, the way it does now. And the thing closes, and she's looking at him, and he's looking at her, and he goes, blick, and that's the end of the movie. Okay?
He gave it a lot more thought than I gave my character.
Honey, you were brilliant. You were brilliant. I mean, you were truly a gift.
I always try to say to people, like directors, like, please tell me what you want, because then I can do it. I feel so capable of following instruction. Like, please tell me what it is that you want. That part seems so easy to me. It's the part where you see actors kind of pacing around and trying to come up with stuff to make more out of what they have.
Like Eddie just did.
Yeah, well, no, I mean,
Make it up and do
but
that.
no, I know, but that's what we do, is we try to enhance what we're doing or what we're given to do, because on shows you sometimes, you get stuck in the corner and you try to fight your way out. You try to make something out of your character, the most that you can make out of it. So that was always something that I watched Eddie do, which is try to, boost up what you were doing, and did a great job at it, and Ridley went with it.
He was strong
Yeah.
enough to do it.
Yeah.
There's very few artists that would allow that kind of growth inside of a situation and then take it to another level. Somebody's leading down a road, and this character's leading down a road, and all of a sudden he's making this movie, and being all of a sudden, whack, he connects this given to him, idea, boom, and pretty soon, man, that idea becomes the whole unicorn, became the whole essence of understanding. And it was really, it was.
I remember something Ridley did that was so funny. He came up to me when we were shooting out there, and he took his thumb on my eyes like this, and he just went like this on my eyes, and that made it all this,
That's how you did that.
He just kind of came up to me and swished my eyes in, and I was like, I was a bit taken aback, because most women want their makeup to look good, and I thought, what the heck? And then from that point on, the makeup man, he actually finessed it at some point and made it look, actually painted it in, like smudgy looking stuff. But that was really just coming in and sticking his fingers on my eyelashes and, messing my face up and thinking, he's that's sort of the process.
So I'd like to open things up. So I'm going to go for some. Let's go for that. The arm that's up there, sir. Yep, that's you.
Ma'am.
That's a
ma'am,
man.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I know that this is a Blade Runner panel, but please forgive me. I've got an opportunity to talk about my original fandom, which is The West Wing, and I was wondering if Mr. Olmos could talk a little bit about his character, Rebecca Mendoza, specifically the episode Celestial Navigation, whether you were aware of, or whether you had any input. I know Aaron Sorkin, you have to read the words that are written on the piece of paper, but did you have any input into how that character was going to, that particular storyline was going to go for the Judge Mendoza, or did you just read the words?
I just read the words. Aaron was brilliant. He's brilliant. Just like, anything else. Most of the time, I just read the words. In Battlestar, I just read the words. Once in a while, we might get into our own space, but basically we stay inside the situation. The writing is really, there's nothing more important than the writing, to be honest with you. And the script is the single most important aspect, and the writer is the most important aspect of any film, any audiovisual event. How we interpret that is a whole different story. Now, they never told me how to act as Judge Mendoza. No one, no director ever told me you got to do this or do that. Same thing happened with Miami Vice and this one. In Blade Runner, I just took off, and they just would turn on the camera and look what I was doing. That was it.
Open to it.
Yeah, they were just complete, and you too. They didn't really tell you how to act. They were.
Oh, I don't think that's true, Eddie. I think he told me exactly everything he wanted to do. Absolutely everything. Everything, even including don't raise my eyebrows. Remember when I had that little, how George Clooney goes like this kind of, he goes like that. Well, I did that too. And he put that clamp on my neck, remember? So that I wouldn't move in my close-up, like literally I was like this. And then he taped my ears down because my ears stuck out a little bit and the hairdo was kind of intense. And, he told me every single thing to do. He made me smoke cigarettes because he wanted to lower my voice because I sounded too young. He kept me in that dressing room. Remember the old dressing rooms? They were just that box. And then you had to go all the way over across the soundstage to use the bathroom. They didn't have the trailers, and you know, then. And he ordered that I stay in this dressing room all the time. And I had to bribe the second AD to give me a radio so I could like move around and be free instead of being stuck in there. And then I would hear, go get Sean, and I'd run back to my dressing room so that they wouldn't know that I had been running around and seeing other people. No, he was very controlling with me. He didn't do that to the guys. The guys was a different story. He was very manipulative with the ladies.
Yes.
Sorry, but that's just the way it was.
So anyway, and Jeff Mendoza, yeah, I'd said the words. They wrote them.
He was a wonderful character.
No, I love that character. They wanted me to continue to do that character. They wanted me to become a regular on the show. And I turned it down to continue. We were doing at that time, I was given the opportunity to do American Family, which was a PBS television program that nobody ever watched. But instead of doing West Wing, I did American Family. But American Family was quite interesting because it was the first all Latino event that ever happened on television, broadcast TV, ever. And so that was the decision I made, to either become, part of the West Wing family or help this other story be told, and I did. I helped them, and it was really a good story. And I don't know if you can find it now. I don't think you can, but American Family, the second season is monumental. Second season was taken off the air by CBB and the Bush administration for the fact that we were using the Kuwait War sequences in the production, and it started with the bombing of Kuwait, of Iraq. That's how the whole second season started, and they told us, if you continue this way, you're off the air. And the LA Times and New York Times had got a hold of the story that they were taking us off the air because of the content of the material, and it became censorship, and it was a huge event that happened. But they kicked us off the air. And so it's
And who says there's no propaganda?
we really fought for that show, but it went. It was a beautiful show too. And some people got to see it, but I don't think you can even get it. You can't get it. Second season of American Family. Try to get it if you can. Question.
I'd like to ask about Blade Runner 2049. I thought it was a beautiful continuation, and you're both in it in a roundabout way. So I'd just like to get your opinions of the film and your opinion of seeing yourself kind of transported back in time in a way.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I always try to not stick my foot in my mouth, but too bad. I basically felt left at the curb on 2049. I felt like I should have been in it, so they kind of avoided me by making the show about me. And I think a lot of people were kind of disappointed that the character hadn't, shown up again. And I said 2 lines. I was in it for 30 seconds. Even I have my theory about why that happened, but it doesn't matter. It's all water under the bridge at this point. So, yeah, I felt left at the curb. But I thought the movie, it was 2 hours and 51 minutes. I thought it was much bleaker than the original. And I personally didn't love it as much. I know you loved it, but I thought it was extremely bleak and depressing. And I thought it took great cojones to make a movie 2 hours and 51 minutes long. And demand the audience to sit there at that. But it is Roger Deakins. His photography is like off the charts in it. I never saw anything that was like that in my life. Yeah.
And Jordan Crenowith was on the original.
Yeah,
right?
Jordan. Yeah.
And that was also brilliant.
Yeah,
He
also
was dying.
ahead of its time. Yeah.
He was really dying on the set.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
didn't they
good.
give him some wrong medication,
Yes,
and then
exactly.
he kept
Literally dying on
Yeah.
the set. I mean, I used to play with him, he'd be standing up there, and he was a young guy. he'd be standing in there and he's completely couldn't even walk or anything. He was just cramping, his body was cramping up. And so I'd move his chair.
Oh.
So, come on, Jordan.
Mean.
We had a great relationship.
So what was your reaction to 2049?
It was, for me personally, I didn't think I was going to be in it. I didn't get the phone call until maybe a week before they ended. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought they were calling me up to say, sorry, we didn't use you. But it was a situation that was quite interesting because when I saw the film, and at the very beginning, when they asked me, I was going to say, like, my advice in the movie, I just said, go ahead, do your thing, guys. You don't need me. And because they wanted me to make that movie with those guys, and I didn't. And so I was going to say no to it. And then I said, no, you know what? This is a legacy that has to continue to move understandingly, and I'm sure that Denny Villeneuve is brilliant filmmaker, and I said it'd be an honor and a privilege to work with him. So I went, and I had one day, but it took about a 2.5 minute scene, maybe 3 minute scene, and it took us maybe about 2 hours to shoot it, maybe 3 hours to shoot it. It was really quick, very simple, very well done. But I was so grateful because when I saw the film, and I wanted it to be 3 hours and 70 minutes long, or 4 hours and 10 minutes, because I love the movie, I love the universe, I love the world, and I'm used to seeing, binging on the visual artistry of this planet, because I've done 10 hours of viewing, sitting down and watching stuff. maybe eating in between, but so I'm not akin to not liking long movies if they're good stories. And I was very happy the way they used my character. It really took me back because when you guys saw it, like when I saw it, first of all, you don't know I'm in the movie. So when you went to go see the movie, you had no idea who was going to be in it. When you saw Sean, you went, "Whoa, she's in it." And when you saw me, you went, "He's in it." and literally, it was really excellent usage of my character. Because I just sat there listening to this poor kid who was being led like a lamb to the slaughter, thinking that he was the son of Deckard, and I knew that he wasn't the son of Deckard, but I wasn't going to say shit to him. I didn't say this. So instead I gave him a little lamb. Walks out here, "You might want this." Which I thought was pretty straight and good.
So, yes?
Hello, hi Sean.
Hi.
I think what's wonderful about your performance in Blade Runner is you communicate so much without dialogue.
Two.
And I think
Really.
what's interesting about the relationship between Rachael and Deckard is it's a love-hate relationship. And I was just wondering, what's your interpretation of the relationship? Do you think it was actually love, or do you think it was that the characters just needed each other?
I think the latter. I think they needed each other. And she was discovering things, and he was discovering things. And that the debate about whether he was a replicant or not
was a big one.
was not decided until, and maybe ever.
Last
you
week.
know? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think they wanted him to be a replicant, or they envisioned him to be a replicant. And I'm still confused as to how people then ended up thinking he was it because of the origami.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like his memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those memories, like what he knew about you, that's how he knew that he knew your memories too. And so, yeah, that was it. And that gave the audience, how many of you, the first time you saw it, realized that he was a replicant? Raise your hands. 3 of you.
See, I didn't think so. Yeah, because they didn't get the necessarily the go ahead from like Alan Ladd and some of the other producers, because their feeling was that a hero had to be human. They didn't sort of see him as an anti-hero, or they didn't see him as they were thinking box office, or test audience like kind of thoughts. Like you can't have a non-human leading man.
It's interesting because basically, It's really interesting because my personal feeling after seeing the movie the first time, and I was in the audience, I was in New York, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
You know, and I was there, and so I wanted to see the first screening. And as soon as the lights went out, everybody lit joints. So,
Damn.
wow, man, we're really watching it now. And it was really amazing because I remember this is 1982, I think, 83.
Yeah, 82.
Yeah, and so it wasn't legal yet. And but when I watched it, I noticed something.
He was at the St. Mark's Place Theater, so that might have been it.
I really saw that the people were not really the character that Harrison created was a character that was very strong, but he was just, they kicked the shit out of him. Everybody did. From the very beginning, he was constantly fighting for his life and not winning all the time. And when he would win, it would be like at the last split second, bang! But these replicants were really intense foes for him. And so it was really a different kind of a hero. Remember, he had done Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then the second Star Wars.
Yeah, but Rutger he did kind of steal the show. Like my two favorite lines that Rutger does, he goes, at the very end, he goes, when he gets hit in the face, he goes, "That's the spirit," you know. I love that line. And then he gets hit in the head, and he goes, "That hurt." I thought those are my two favorite Rutger lines, and he had so much, you know, his vim and verve, the way he kind of. And
Really?
poor Harrison. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there being kind of two different camps, the Harry camp and the Rutger camp, because both of them were really angling to be masculine, you know. And I think it was harder for Harry to be, you know, kind of thrown down on the ground and kind of, you know, being rained on, and having Rutger be so omnipotent over him. I think that was challenging for him, you know, and I
Well,
think they kind of
It was challenging for the audience. That's what I'm trying to say here. The movie did not take off. It only made 4.2 million in the first run here. And it bombed. It was a complete disaster. And it was as bad as, you know, Michael's
Cimino.
Cimino
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's
Yeah.
Gate, same thing. Two $40 million movies that did not work. And those were the biggest movies at that time. I honestly felt when I was
Except that Heaven's Gate didn't go on to
No.
become a cult film,
No.
and it wasn't actually a good movie.
But I was telling you, if you had cast Jeff Bridges in that role at that time, the movie would have been a different film. A lot different. And not that Harrison didn't do a brilliant job what he did with his work, he was excellent. But we weren't ready for him to be the anti-hero, a guy that could be thrown around, a guy that was...
Well, like Mr. Han Solo, you're not thinking he's going to be, you know, Mr. Deckard.
James Bond,
yeah.
you know, Sean Connery getting his ass kicked every 2 minutes. You know, he was James Bond. You can't do that to him. And then this kid, Harrison, had done the 3 biggest feature films, gross box office feature films in the history of film up to that point.
Up to
and
that
this was
point,
his 4th film. And boy, there was tension, but the tension was a different kind of tension than I felt between Rutger and Harrison, because Rutger's character was by far was stronger. He was not human. He was a replicant, so he was incredible. And but so I felt that it was miscast in that respect, and I think that at the time, I think even Harrison would have said, you know what, this is not what I signed up for. But at the time, he was such a big box office that's how they guaranteed their $40 million movie that they were making. So they had to go with that kind of situation. And Gaff, who is a brilliant artist and great actor, was just moving into that level, but hadn't hit that level. His movies had done some great work. but he
Oh,
had,
that guy.
he had to do it, yeah. Go ahead. What was it?
That guy there with the beard? Go ahead.
I'm wondering, there's a lot of philosophical ideas that came from this movie. Did it have an impact on your own beliefs? And what is the meaning of life?
What is the
The
what?
meaning of life is 42, according to Douglas Adams. And,
I don't understand the question. Seriously.
Seriously, I think what you're asking is what kind of an impact did the film have on us, making it, right? Again, we were in it, so it was not impacting us the way it does when you watch it. Okay, so we we were inside the characters, so, I mean, as far as you were concerned, what the hell, I'm a Blade Runner. And so I was a Blade Runner, and no one even realized it, that there was 2 Blade Runners in the movie, but no one ever called me a Blade Runner. But I was a Blade Runner. I was there for a reason.
I'm more practical. I think the lesson I learned was never make a director feel bad for hitting on you.
That always doesn't work, right?
Yeah, well,
when I interviewed Sean in San Diego, and it was an amazing celebration of Blade Runner. It was opening for Frank Miller's 300, and I asked you a similar question, and I said, what was your what did you take away from the film? And you said ecology, that you were very, very worried that in 2019 we were going to have a dark and troubled world, and now we have the
here we
Amazon
are.
rainforest.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, Lord.
So not that answers any question, but okay, big wavy hands, guy.
Question about remakes. Now, Dune is getting a new version, and I really want to hear your thoughts on that. Both of you, especially Sonia, because there is a new Chani. I would like to know what you think of her and the movie in general. Thank you.
Well, I emailed Denis and begged him to put me in the remake, the sequel, and didn't hear back from him, so could only conclude that wasn't his desire. And so, screw the sequel is all I can say.
Sequels are a tricky situation. I just finished, you all know that 16 years ago, 16 years ago, we did a sequel or a remake of Battlestar. That became a big issue. People hated us because we made, Starbuck a girl and all kinds of different changes. And so basically, it's really tricky. You really have to have confidence in the way you're touching the material, because people have their opinions of it, and they'll tell you at the box office. They won't go, or they won't watch your television show.
Yeah, they walk in with a baseball bat, ready to criticize it.
Yeah.
When I interviewed you for Space about that, because Space was running Battlestar, you said, okay, direct to camera, I'm going to do this direct to camera. If you love the original Battlestar Galactica, don't watch our show. And I remember how shocked I was to hear that, but it set the tone for the remake.
Yeah, you kind of had to. I mean, basically, the people were really angry, and Richard Hatch and all these people who had been spent 25 years of their lives trying to get the thing done again were really upset that they weren't really leading the pack to get it done again, and all of a sudden they were doing it, and who were they to be able to do it when they were the ones who had been pioneering the whole structure of trying to make it again. And it was very difficult. It became, a lot of you in here, many of you didn't like our show because you liked the original, and many of you didn't like our show until you saw the show, and then you started to say, well, wait a minute, this is a different take on it. And then, so you like them both now, which is the right way to be. Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to choose the hand right at the very back. Yeah, yes, the little duck hand went down. Yes, that one.
Great hat, because he
Great
was
hat.
got the same hat. Oh, I get it.
It took me a little bit to, the first time I watched Blade Runner, I had to see it like a second time to really get it. You know what I mean? Did you guys know when you were filming it, were you shocked when it didn't pan out when it first was released? Or did you know it was going to come? When did you feel the movie was going to be successful or not? Did you read it? How did that happen? What did you feel?
What do you think?
Well, I personally knew from the moment I walked on the stage that we were in a really iconic film. The production value is unprecedented. I've never worked inside of a production value like that. It was 1980.
I didn't have a basis of comparison, so that was not my experience, because I had never, that was really one of the first films I had done that was of that nature. But it did remind me of the older movies. You know, you could see that the lighting was being especially done, and, you know, I remember when we did ADR, and when I saw my face come up to the screen in the very first entrance shot of my character Rachael, I thought, damn, that's pretty amazing looking. And it reminded me a lot of Joan Crawford and some of the people in that previous era. So it had that retro feel that was when I figured it out, was in the ADR session.
I have to say, I think it's one of the great entries in any film. That Rachael comes in and it's like, whoa, okay, now we have a film.
It's pretty in your face, that's for sure.
She was so beautiful.
Okay, over here.
And she's more beautiful now.
Originally, when
I'm going out to dinner with her.
Okay.
Go ahead, we're sorry. He's doing shtick over here, all right. Come on.
When Blade Runner was originally released, it had Harrison Ford's voiceover, and then when Ridley Scott cut the picture, he took it out. I'm just wondering which version of the two you might have preferred.
I thought I liked the voiceover better, and then I recently, maybe 18 years or 20 years later, saw the other version without the voiceover, and then really liked that, and then heard the voiceover again and didn't like it. You know, so it sort of, I think I liked it because it was the original, and we were all kind of stunned when we first saw it. But then as time goes on, and you see the improvements that Ridley made to his director's cut, I think I prefer that one now.
I just wanted to comment that the last scene between Rutger and Harrison, when Rutger's dying, there was that narration that Harrison did, and I thought that was good because when you took it out, you just sort of saw him sitting there looking at him, and there was nothing.
Is that one still in the director's cut? It was taken out, yeah. Because, yeah, I agree with you, because that is the sort of poignant part of it, yeah. Interesting.
Hand up there, right there. This is the last question, so you better make it really good.
We'll give her one question
We good?
too, all right?
Okay, two questions.
You. Okay, go ahead.
Jesus.
So this question, I know it's the Blade Runner panel, and I'm a big Blade Runner fan. This is more for Edward James Olmos, I'm a huge Miami Vice fan. Yeah, just wanted to take just a little snippet of your time at Miami Vice. I know you had a good, amazing video on American history about how you got the actual Miami Vice role by Michael Mann. I just want to know just about your experience. I mean, especially the first two seasons, your interactions with Loren Peta, Don Johnson, the whole cast is phenomenal. And I mean, your role and your performance is phenomenal as well. So just touch a bit about it.
Yeah, you should. It was on. Where did you see it?
It was on YouTube. It was American history, American film history.
Okay, go to American Film History. Because there I talk extensively on it. That's like a 25-minute,
The snippet was about 10 minutes. And
Yeah, there you go, 10 minutes. We got like less than 3. Jesus Christ. No. Basically, it was a great experience, very different, and I was very fortunate because the only way I would take the job was to have a
I
non-exclusive.
actually have a question.
Oh.
No, I do, because what I love about you in Miami Vice is how quiet you are. That was the most stunning thing, is that you have this kind of like fatherly and yet sort of omnipotent you do something very interesting, and that was intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when did that happen? When did you make that decision?
On the flight from LA to the red eye from LA to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
I created the character and I walked off the plane. I had to go straight onto the character and develop the character in front of me.
And so what was the character? Did you take it from something in your life?
No, I meshed together my understandings of different situations that people that I consider. You know, one was a samurai warrior, another was a ninja warrior, and another one was a priest. And
Because the quiet strength of the Miami Vice character has stayed with me all these years. I just love that character. I love that character. So we promised her, yeah, real quick.
Okay, first of all, thank you both for being here, especially in 2019. Like, what an experience.
Right.
And this question for John, I love you so much.
I must have felt that and picked you, right?
Did you always know that Rachael was a replicant, or like when did you find out?
Yeah, I knew she was a replicant because I had read the script, so I knew how it ended, you know. Yeah. You know, I always feel a little guilty as an actor or jealous of some actors because it seems like they just ponder and ponder and ponder, and I find the process of acting so natural and intuitive. It's not that much of a thinking process for me. It's a soldier or following instructions, you know, the line of command, you know, like I know when it lands on me, you know, what's necessary for me, but I don't overthink it, and that's not because I'm stupid, you know. It's just I don't run it around in my head over and over again. So if Ridley tells me this is what he wants, then I'm going to try to do that, you know?
So please join me all in thanking our two guests, particularly.
Thank you very much.
Two things. One, please join us at our booths. You don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is come over and spend time with us, talk with us, ask us questions that you didn't get to ask here, ask them there. And two, thank you so much for coming in and working. It's so special for us. This is the time that we do this in 4 years.
I know, they say he's fine. I'm like, because I've known him. He's not here, he's in New York. I knew him from comics, because I'm a comic book fan.
We love Toronto. So say we all.
Yeah.
So say